Alright, we're gonna get right into this video because we're gonna try to make it as quick as possible. What you're looking at is basically a Dell motherboard, and what I'm basically about to do is see the small capacitor right here, which is these two right here. If you look at the top, you can see how the top look like. So anytime you are able to see something like that, okay, so therefore you have a problem. Alright, so that's the reason why I was able to after my diagnostic and able to find out, that was my problem, because my computer started acting up, and eventually there was no image, no screen, nothing. So I decided to open it up, as you can see. Okay, I decided to open it up and do a little bit of digging, and then find out these two capacitors, both of them got a little lips on the top, and then there was a little, I would say, fluid that came out. So, and we got our new part because we went online and ordered our part, and this is what came in about yesterday. Okay, so our capacitors is basically hang on, let me see if I can read that. It's basically 6.3 volts and 1800 microfarad. Okay, you see it right there, 6.3 volt, 1800, that's 1800 microfarad. So, and that's the same volume that we have over here. If you must see them, trying to get a good angle so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I think you'd be able to see that right there, 6.3 volt, 1800 microfarad. So, from my understanding, if you're replacing them, you can go a little higher as far as more volume, but I don't think you can go lower than that, than what you already have. Okay, so the tools that I'm gonna use, I just bought these tools yesterday. Okay, and mine is basically 30 watts. I don't think you need anything higher than that. I don't know if they make them higher than that. I did see 40 watts, but I think 30 watts should be enough. So this is your heat gun, okay, and this is your application as far as the solder, okay, and pretty much just be safe and don't burn your house down. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and unsolder those two, and then see what it looks like. Okay, so now we have our heat gun, however you call it, is basically plug in, and we're gonna give it probably a few minutes to get to whatever temperature that's supposed to be. Alright, and we getting ready to go ahead and melt those little full pans. 1, 2, that's one. That's one of them, and the second one will be this one and that one. So once we melt them, we don't have the other piece of the they call it some kind of suction thing. It's like a soccer thing that's actually suck as you melting the solder, and it just suck it so you don't make a mess. So we were not fortunate here, okay, to find that. I know they sell them online on eBay or whatever online stores, but it's something we wanted to do quick, so we really didn't have time to go online and order it. But we did order this piece online, okay. But unfortunately, we didn't think to go ahead and order both online at the same time when we realized that. So we already received that piece. So we were like, okay, that we can work without it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is right here where we just remove. That's the hole right there. We just removed the first one. Okay, and this is it right there. Now we got the second one. Just flip this over. We got the second one right over here. So this is just 2 holes right there. That's where the first one came out of there. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and heat up the second one to put it out. So now we got the heat gun. It's pretty hot right now. Okay, so all we're gonna do, just flip that and heat it up. And these are gonna be these 2 pins right here, 1 and 2. Just gonna go ahead and heat those up and go ahead and put it out. I can't do it with my both hands because it's a job, from my understanding, that you have to do it with your both hands, because I can't hold the camera and then I would need a third hand to actually hold the camera and then another hand to hold the heat gun. And while I'm heating these 2 little tiny pins, and I have my third hand to actually pull as I'm heating. So I'm short a third hand, so that's the reason why I go ahead and get it done and then come back with the video. Alright, now that we are able to see four holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the second one came out, and these are 2 of them. Okay, and you can see the residue where that thing burst. See there? And I don't think the second one actually burst, but it was about to. So you can see how the top looked like. 6.3 volt, 1800 microfarad. So, and with the new one, basically the same volume. The only thing that's different, look different, is basically, you see what it says ZLH. That's the new one, and the old one says something else, which is a 775J, whatever that is. And okay, this is a number that says KZJ. That's the only difference about it, or whatever. But that's, if you see the letters K, Z, and J. So anyway, so let's flip it to show you how the back look like. Let's make sure we can identify. Alright. This is basically what the back look like for us. So we're gonna clean that with a little bit of alcohol. Alright. Alright, right now what we're about to do right now is go ahead and clean. Just clean the area with a little bit of alcohol. Pretty much. Should be good. And we're gonna flip it. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Alright. That's basically what it is. Okay, this is basically where I just solder the my first capacitor. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip that. You can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and flip that bad boy, and you can see how it's sitting. Okay. Now, one thing I need to mention, okay, how if you don't know how to place capacitor when it comes to computers, motherboards, and stuff like that, okay, you have negative and positive side, okay? So what's gonna happen is, you see how you see the little white part, okay? You have to look at the capacitor and then make sure that the white part from the capacitor is actually on the same side if this is the white part, okay? Because if you put it in the wrong way, so what you're doing, like I'm saying, if this is, for instance, negative, and I believe this is negative, if you put it reverse, where the white part from the capacitor is on this side, you're basically putting negative over here and positive over here. So you could actually damage the capacitor or the motherboard at the same time. You could have a short. So let me grab a capacitor, which is a brand new one, and show you. So from the brand new capacitor, see, this is brand new. This is where mine is a gray line, so it really doesn't matter. And this right there look like a gray line, so I don't think it's white. But anyway, so you have an idea what I'm talking about. So when you are actually placing it, you basically have to place it like like so. You basically have to place it like this, where the gray line is actually matched with the gray line that's actually on the motherboard. If you place it in reverse, you actually place it, from my understanding, in the wrong way. Okay, so I'm not just saying that just because I thought about it. No, it's because if you look, there's one capacitor right here. If you look how it is, look at the gray line, and look at the bottom. It's sitting on the gray line. And I've checked, there's another one. I've checked all of them, or majority of them, and I realized they placed the same way. So that tells me that's the way to go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and place my second one, and I'll get back with you guys. And another thing too, this is what I use. It's basically a nail clipper. This is what I use to clip the end of my capacitors, like these little ends. So what I do, I go ahead, push that in all the way in where I want it to be. Okay. And you don't have to put it in like all the way flush, so it doesn't have to touch the motherboard. Like, you have to have it flush. Okay. So, for instance, you got this little thing right here sticking out. So I use my nail clipper and just clip that. See that? You don't use nail clipper just to do your nails. You can improvise and do a lot of things with nail clippers. Alright, get back with you on that. Alright, so we're done with the second capacitor, so it's in place. This is what it looks like. Okay. That's basically 4 of them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. So we got our capacitors in there. So now we're gonna go ahead and they actually sit in there pretty tight. So now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back together as far as the computer. Put the computer together. All right. So this is the case for the computer. So we're gonna go ahead and place everything in. And as we're doing that, we're gonna show you how we're gonna do that. Alright, so that's basically what needs to be done. Alright, now we already have the motherboard in place. We already have our screws, our bolts. Okay. In place. Alright, so now we're gonna continue. Go ahead and finish it. And this part right there gotta go right in here. And as we're placing everything back together, you see how it looks. Alright, so we pretty much put everything back. Okay. Now the only thing we're actually missing is the CMOS battery, which is right here. Okay. So we have it, but we took it out. Anytime I'm working on a computer, as far as the motherboard, I always replace actually replace the CMOS battery. Okay, so for me, it's always a good thing to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and put a brand new one in there. Now that I have everything together, and then you can see the CMOS battery right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, plug it in, and what I want to hear is a beep, like beep beep, and that will tells me that everything is working fine, and that's the sound of the CMOS battery that's actually telling me that motherboard is responding, everything responding. If I don't hear that beep, so therefore, like I'm saying, I'm still having a problem with the motherboard, and I do not want that to happen. What I want to hear is the beeping that my motherboard is good, my CMOS is good, and everything else is working fine. If I don't hear that beep, therefore my motherboard is still defected. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. I am not hearing the beeping sound that I wanted to hear. I'm gonna do it again to see. I just turned the whole computer off just to give it a good restart, because I just plug it in and then it just start up automatically. So I'm gonna do it manually this time. I'm gonna press the button. I'm not sure if you can hear the sound, but I don't like the way it sounds like, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit more diagnostic on it. I'm gonna hook it up with the monitor, and to find out if I have any anything on the screen, or if I have any image at all. So, and but so far all the lights are on, and because before it would not turn on at all. So okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hook it up with the monitor screen and see what we have on the screen. We're probably gonna have to we set up the BIOS or the CMOS, so basically the BIOS as far as date, you know, month, day, and year, stuff like that. Because anytime you unplug your CMOS battery, so you're gonna when you plug it back, you're gonna have to reset the whole system just to make sure your computer is operating with the right date and, you know, time. Okay. All right. Thank you guys.